Everyone, it's now just after 7, so I will call this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Albany, Wednesday, May 28th, 2025, regular meeting to order, and I will follow that with the land acknowledgement. The City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lishan. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands and must make strides to repay the moral debt that is owed to this indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions, which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. The City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationships with the tribe and together build a better future for all that now make this their home. And with that, we will do roll call.
Commissioner Moment?
Here.
Commissioner Pearson?
Here.
Chair McLeod?
Here.
And Commissioners Waddy and Pilch are absent this evening.
Okay, thank you. Any ex parte communications on anyone's part? None for me either. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 3, consent calendar, which is only the minutes of May 14th, 2025. I actually had a couple things, so I guess I would pull that from the consent calendar.
If they're minor, we can pull it, yeah.
Just briefly, I guess. It won't take long. So we'll pull the consent calendar item 3.3-1, approval of minutes. Just one thing I noticed on a couple things, actually. One was in the bike parking section. It was page 3, line 17. It said cupboards. I think it should have said bike lockers. Just one correction. Yeah, bike room is more flexible than individual cupboards. Didn't seem like it was appropriate. And then just regarding bike parking in general, I would like it noted that I was proposing that we also have ordinances and requirements for temporary events. So that was, part of what I was proposing or talking about. So that would be it for me. Any other comments on the minutes? Any public comment on the minutes? We have to ask.
If you wish to speak on the minutes, either step up to the dais or use the raise the hand icon. No.
No. Okay, with that, we can move on to a motion for approval.
I'll move for approval of item 3-1.
With the
changes
modifications.
as noted, I
Yeah.
guess. or
Changes as
as
noted, right.
mentioned.
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll go to a vote. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Moman?
Yes.
I vote yes as well, so the minutes have been approved. Next up is item 4, public comments for persons desiring to address the commission on an item that is not on the agenda. Please note that city policy limits each speaker to 3 minutes. The chair may reduce this. The Brown Act limits the commission's ability to take and or discuss items that are not on the agenda. Therefore, such items may be referred to staff for comment or to a future agenda. Is there anyone who would like to make a public comment for the good of the city?
If you'd wish to speak on an item not on the agenda, use the raise the hand icon. Or come up to the podium, I mean. No? No, okay. No one.
Okay, no public comment, so we'll close item 4 and move on to item 5. Item 5-1, planning application PA 25-015707 Gateview Avenue. And staff will have a presentation for us.
Yes, we do, Chair. Let's do that. Okay, so, all right, so I'm sharing my screen. So hello, commissioners and members of the public, both present and virtual. My name is Mira Han, Associate Planner with the City of Albany. Tonight, I'm here to present Design Review Application PA 25-015-707 Gateview Avenue. So let's start with the project location and context. The project site is located in the single-family residential district with the combined hillside overlay district. The 18,621 square foot lot is located on a cul-de-sac. So you can see that. Let me see if I can pull up my laser pointer because I don't have a cursor. Yeah, so that's a cul-de-sac. On the north side, on the east side of Gateview Avenue, south of the vacant lot at 695 Gateview Avenue and north of Washington Avenue. So yeah, you can see again that it's a very hilly site. It's on the uphill side of the street. You can see at the bottom the so the existing versus the proposed. Go next. So we can see here the site plan. The subject lot, as I said, slopes up from the street approximately 28% and is developed with a 4,109 square foot, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-story home constructed in the modern style. So the residence has an attached 2-car garage and detached 2-car carport at the rear, which are proposed to remain. This application comes with a design review request to construct a 2,075 square foot multi-story addition at the rear and right southwest side of the house. So that's the area. The project consists of, so you can see here, the areas in blue right here. Those are the areas that are going to be the addition on the existing second story. So that comprises around 538 square feet. A new approximately 400 square foot fourth story with a new 1,136 square foot third story, so that's the L-shaped at the rear addition, and a new approximately 400 square foot fourth story with a 700 square foot roof deck and other interior and exterior changes. So the project will result in a 4-story, 7-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 2.5-bathroom home with a maximum height of 30 feet, around 30 feet. The garage and the carport are proposed to remain. So we'll move to the next. So one thing that is in the staff report is that the Hillside Overlay District specifies certain development standards, which include a maximum 40-foot height limit overall, with a maximum 28-foot height limit for any new construction within 10 feet of the downhill face, front face of the structure. So if you count 10 feet up here, any new construction cannot be more than 28 feet measured from the point immediately down on grade. However, if it's outside of that area, the 10-foot kind of like setback, quote unquote, it can be up to 40 feet. So the project complies. As you can see, the addition, which is in dotted blue line, is significantly recessed from both the face of the rest of the home and the face of the whole structure, which would happen to be the face of the garage. So it complies with that. So we can see from the proposed design that there are different details that break up the facade and provide articulations, such as, so you can see here on the left side, a new porch, covered porch at the existing main entrance, another covered porch at the new secondary entrance. So that's from the right south side of the view, and then a new kind of like a window alcove at the rear, which faces north. And so, yeah, also further articulation is provided by the combination of different materials and colors. As you can see here, it's proposed to match and complement the existing architectural style with painted stucco, wood paneling at the covered porches and window alcove, asphalt shingle roofs, fiberglass windows, metal rod railings with wood rail at the top, and concrete walls at the stairs. So staff has received one comment, one piece of correspondence regarding this project proposal, and that comment has been added to the project files on the agenda in your packets, commissioners. So with that, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission review and approve the proposed project subject to the findings and standard conditions of approval. Thank you.
Thank you for the staff report. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Commissioner
I
Pearson?
do.
go
I
ahead.
have a couple questions, and forgive me because these are more just about the zoning. Like, I didn't have time to review the ordinance, but I'm curious if the city has regulations for mini dorms. Leslie, you know where this is coming from, or if there's a limit on the number of bedrooms. Like, I know there are other jurisdictions where there's a 5-limit bedroom, and if you go over that, you need to get a certain permit. So I'm wondering if the city of Albany has any regulations that pertain to the number of bedrooms that are allowable in single-family homes.
Not that I'm aware of, not in planning and zoning, but I don't know. We don't.
No. And do we have any regulations for group living accommodations where it's not, where the same, it's a home that would be lived in by non-related people, like, as opposed to a family occupying, or a household occupying, no?
I don't believe we do. Yeah, not at the moment. Mhm.
And then we got a comment from a community member that had a concern about there being 2 kitchens in this home, and when I looked at the plans, I didn't see that there were 2 kitchens, so I was curious.
Share, let me try to share let me see the plans, and we can take a look at it. I didn't notice that either. I'm sorry?
I think there should only be one kitchen, so if there happens to be 2 kitchens, we will make sure that
Yeah.
that is, so a household is not defined in any other way except for it is only allowed to have one kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. There, you said there was a secondary entrance. Is it a secondary entrance into like another foyer, or is it a secondary entrance like a back door?
It's a second entrance to the foyer, which leads to the existing second floor, which, it's the same level where the main entrance leads to. So basically, the way I see it is that it's such a big house, it's such a big residence that it would provide access and flexibility in terms of where to come from or to enter the house from. So yeah.
Okay, so if a second kitchen were to be installed, it would be considered 2 units, or if the part of the home were to be carved out at some point, then it would be like an ADU in a home or 2 units.
Correct. If the applicant wanted to install a second kitchen, they would have to go through the ADU process. Otherwise, they could. Another option would be to convert it into a duplex through SB9.
Yeah.
But they do have options, but not within the present planning application. It's not within the scope of work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other questions?
Yeah. We have like 0.55 FAR as a limit for exceptional design guidelines applicability. But in this case, because lot is so big, it would not apply. But then do we have a criteria for the size of the house? Like if it exceeds certain, area?
So it's so I think, are you referring to the 45%
Right,
FAR
yeah.
threshold? So
Right.
a project is kind of reviewed as an exceptional design project. So yeah, you're correct. Because of the size of the lot, the addition, which is, actually the addition is relatively minor compared to the rest of the existing house.
Right.
So yeah, it didn't trigger that,
So
that
it
threshold.
applies only in terms of FAR, not in terms of like overall square foot area.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
what the design guidelines
Okay.
state.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? No? I guess, could you just refresh our memories on the HOD housing, or the Hillside Overlay District? Is it just heights, or is there something else to it?
So yeah, so we have a whole section in the code that deals with specific development standards for overlay districts. One of them is the Hillside Overlay District, and Yes, it addresses mostly the height. So it depends on if a house is located on the uphill or the downhill side of the street. But there's overall a 40-foot height limit overall across the board. However, if it's on the upper, like the uphill side of the street, then the first 10 feet measured from the face of the from the front face of the structure cannot exceed 28 feet. And I guess, the intent of it, of course, is to, to avoid a massive structure from the street.
Right, so sort of ensuring it's set back a little bit. So did you say 40 feet?
That's correct.
And where is that? That's measured from the lowest point of grade where the house starts, like at
Basically
the garage
follows-
level in this
correct.
case?
No, that's a very good question. It follows the grade, the
Yeah.
slope. So basically, you draw an imaginary line. So any point, any specific point, you would like drop a perpendicular line and so the point that it touches on the ground, that's where you would measure. So if the imaginary line, if the structure is inside of that area, that between the grade and the 40 feet, then it is fine.
That goes up really high then if you're going, right,
Yeah,
at
this
any,
one is.
at any point on the slope, if you go up 40 feet, okay, that's very high. Okay, and otherwise, this is R1, single-family zoning. Okay. All right, well, the other questions were very appropriate.
I have two more. Sorry, I have
Okay.
two more questions.
Because I was going to ask something similar, but go ahead. if
Oh,
have
no,
other
you
questions.
finish and
No, I don't think I have any other questions for now.
Okay, so I had two more questions. So the other one, again, like, I'm not so familiar with Albany's zoning ordinance, but are there any regulations for short-term rentals? Like, is there a limitation on the number of days that a home can be, and I asked this because there was a comment letter that said that there was concern that this would be a short Airbnb, and so, is there a 14-day or a 28-day, or?
I will look that up. It's if you don't mind, it's my understanding that our short-term rentals are for 30 or more days, but let me look that up to confirm that answer. I was talking about short-term rentals yesterday, so let me confirm that if you have other questions for.
Okay, and then the other question I have is about the roof deck. Like, I think I heard you say the roof deck is 700 square feet. And so I was curious, are there any regulations on the size of roofs or roof decks? No. Are there? No.
Go ahead.
No.
Sorry, not for the area, but of course there's different heights that would trigger design review. So basically when a deck is more than 36 inches in height from grade, then it immediately is reviewed as a design review project. It doesn't go, otherwise it would go directly to building, as a building permit.
And is this, did I read the plans correctly that the roof deck is on the south side, so adjacent, the south side of the lot, so it's close to the neighbors?
I believe there's quite a good distance. But yeah, that was the sense I got. But it's, of course, as the house is closer, right, to the south, I guess, the south lot line, it is relatively closer. However, let me see. Let me take a look at the plans. I'll pull up the plans and we can share. Let me share this screen. So yeah, so this is existing, that's proposed. So yes, you're correct. It would be closer, definitely, to the property line, but it still complies with the setbacks. However, let me see if from this photograph, and maybe the applicant can provide some information on that. Let's see, it looks like, yeah, I think the applicant might be more, I don't know if the applicant is here, or maybe they have joined virtually. Are you able to respond to this question?
Maybe we should wait a minute until we finish our questions, and then we could ask the applicant directly,
Yeah,
I
let me
suppose. There is a page, there's a site, there's a big driveway next door.
Right, yeah, we can see in the middle picture there.
Yeah, middle picture? Yeah, the middle
Middle
picture.
lower picture, if you zoom into that. Yeah, there. The middle picture, you can see a parking lot south of the house.
Yeah, big parking
Yeah.
area.
So
to the
there's a big
south.
separation between two houses. Yeah.
There's quite, I'm not sure how much of a distance that is, but judging by the amount of cars kind of parked there, this would be the south setback. So there seems to be a good distance between what would be the proposed deck and the proposed addition to the closest neighbor on the south side.
Okay, and then one more question about roof decks, like do you have limitations on uses, like hours, like quiet hours?
So we do have a noise ordinance, and of course, which is part of our performance standards as well. So any use, any type of use in the city has to comply with those, with the noise regulations. And if there's a neighbor who does not think that an adjacent use is being compliant with it, they would reach out to the city, and then we would look into it. But
Thank you.
Well, we could have the applicant, they don't have an architect, they have an engineer, but also we could ask some questions of the applicant, if there are any, or kind of those specifics, or the applicant could explain the project to us as well.
This one, right?
the second one,
Right.
Are you the applicant, the owner?
Hello, can you hear me?
Sure, if you don't mind, you could just tell us what your intentions are, or what you're trying to do with the project.
Okay, so my
Please
name
go
is
to
Dong Ji-seo.
the microphone and speak into the microphone.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Angie Cao, the owner of 707 Gateway Avenue in Albany. I love this city, and I will try my best to get a very beautiful house, mainly for my family. I'm single. I have no kids at all, but I need a big house. Why? I want to explain to you. Everybody was curious. Why, Angie, you are alone? Why you want such a big house? Because I'm taking 5 nieces. I'm taking care of 5 motherless nieces and a nephew. Why? Because my older brother and sister-in-law, they both passed away, 3 orphan deaths. I took care of them. They are growing up now, of course. And I also taking care of my younger sister's 2 kids. My younger sister passed away at the age 44 and left a 7-year boy and an 11 years old girl. So I took care both of them too. So total 5 nieces and nephew. They all motherless. So I told them, you all don't have mother. I'm your auntie mother now. I'm the only one in the world who can help you now. You have to work, study very hard, and work hard in order to become independent. That's why July 4th, Independence Day, you have to become independent. So they study very hard. They graduated from KALB, so I'm so happy. And after that, I asked them to go to East, go to Ivy League to get their master or PhD degree. And they work out very well, okay? So they have either PhD or master degree, but then they all stay in the East, work or study or professor or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I think we get it. You're trying to bring family
So
home.
when they come back to California, the place they grow up, they have no house, no home. So I feel they become homeless. That's why I bought a
Okay, that
5
sounds
big house.
great. I think we're going
And now I
to,
want to upgrade for them.
okay, yeah, it sounds great.
That's
I
all.
think we understand your motivations.
Yeah, mainly for them.
Yeah, okay. Any other specific questions for the applicant?
I have oh, sorry.
Go
Not
ahead.
for you. No. Please finish.
No, I was just going to say we could close this and open up to public comment.
Yeah, I had an answer regarding the short-term rentals, which is we do not regulate short-term rentals in any way, shape, or form. They're supposed to get a business license, and through that, they are regulated by the city, but we don't have a short-term rental ordinance.
I don't plan to rent out so far. Yeah.
Okay.
I bought a house in 2014.
If you can take a seat for 1 second, we'll open the public comment. in
Yeah,
one
we're
minute.
going, thank you. It helps to understand your motivations. Thank you very much. So we'll close our staff questioning and move on to public comment for anyone either here or at home who would like to comment. So is there anyone here who would like to? This time you'll be limited to 3 minutes. Yeah, you can keep speaking if you like.
That's why I went to see, because I know there's a public comment.
Please speak into the microphone.
Oh,
Thank
Can you
you.
hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. First time to use this kind of thing. Anyway, this afternoon, I find out who is the comment from, Serena. So she is my friend's tenants before. The house behind me, 710 Hilga, I introduced to my friend who bought that house. That house has beautiful, gorgeous view. After I saw that view, I come back, I want to cry. I never tell people I have a Bayview house anymore. So I instead, because right now I see a lot of wires. So that's why I intend to get at least one window without any wires. That's why I'm struggling for over 10 years, 2014 to now. Save the money, make the design, and then I was finally get to this point, thanks God. Anyway, so I went to see Serena this afternoon. I explained to her, she worried about I will rent so many rooms out. I told her, hi, Serena, I'm Angie Tao. I'm a apartment owner in Berkeley. I manage by myself over 20 years. I lock myself in the apartment buildings to do all my own business. Until 2012, I met Tony. He is a contractor. He can do maintenance for me. And then next year, 2013, I met Joey Wang. He is a realtor, so he can be my live-in manager. Okay, ever since then, they take over my business. So 14 next year, I bought a house. So I can start with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. It's good enough for myself. Instead, I bought a 5-2 big house. Now the 5 kids come back. Who is going to get the bathroom? Become unfair to me. That's why I told Tony, I want every bedroom has become turned into suite. Every room has its own bathroom to solve my problem. Otherwise, I want to be fair for everyone. So everybody has their own bed or bathroom. That's why I turn into suite. So far, my intention is when we finish, I will have 7 bedrooms with 7 full baths. And I have another so-called library or office in the main entrance floor. That room, no bathroom, but I add a half bathroom to there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, time's up. Thank you very much. Yeah, everyone gets 3 minutes. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak? Or
Anyone else in the room wishing to speak on 707 Gateview? No? We have some folks online.
Hello.
Hello.
Go
Hi,
ahead.
my name is Brandon. I am the property owner for 710 Hillside, directly behind this property. I did see that there was a framing up on the existing property now. And I had a couple of questions actually about the privacy into not only my backyard, but also like with the height and the additional stories almost directly into my basement floor. I know that you have existing trees on the plan, and I was wondering if those trees are on our property or on your property, or what those kind of look like, as well as if those are possibly could be required in terms of for privacy into the two properties.
We go through all public comments, so if you have 2 minutes left.
Oh, okay. That's kind of all I had in terms of concerns from my end. The size and the height is something extraordinary, and I think that it's great to have that. It's just the roof deck and the extra stories or any windows facing my end, I would want to have some sort of privacy. So whether it's tree privacy or those design considerations are taken into consideration so that they're not facing directly into the windows of my house or whatever that may look like design-wise, that would be great. And I appreciate that consideration.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Dong Jin Seo, and actually I'm an architect that help the Angie, the homeowner of the 707 Gateview. I think maybe I can answer the question previously regarding the privacy issue backside of the 707 lot. Actually, the tree that he mentioned is a really tall tree. Now I'm opening up the Google map, and you can tell how big this tree is. So I don't think that there is a privacy issue because this is a very tall tree, and we don't have any plan to remove any of the tree here. That is the one, and I'm looking at the great. Thank you very much. I think even though we added the additional level here, still I think a 716 or 710 resident is much higher than. Actually, I don't think there is any, in my opinion, I don't see any privacy issue to backward. And yeah, that's what I want to say. And since I'm here, if there is any question about architectural element and feature, then feel free to ask me. And you talked about actually the privacy issue with the neighborhood, and the drawing A07 has actually the street level elevation, so you can get a little bit of sense of how far the adjacent neighbor is related from the street level. And also the window opening is not for the vision purpose mainly. It's more for the the window on the facing to our neighbor on the right and actually north and south is more for the ventilation from the restroom, and so it's not for the visionary purpose. So we don't think that there is not a privacy issue. So since I'm here again, so if there's any question, feel free to ask me.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
If anyone else wishes to speak on 707 Gateview, please come up to the podium. That's all.
Okay, seeing as there are no more speakers on this item, then we will close public comment and move to commissioner discussion. So would anybody like to make any comments or?
I don't have a lot of comment, just one suggestion actually. I understand the rationale behind the extension. I just think that since this is a huge house, it would be useful to have some variation in the material finish instead of having all stucco with one paint color. It would be, I think, good to some kind of it has a nice broken bulk mass, but with finishes, I think you can create some variation, either with a different paint shade or some kind of siding or something. That would kind of give a kind of a look of not one large, huge house, but maybe kind of a cluster of smaller houses.
That's it? Okay. Commissioner Pearson?
So thank you for the explanation of why you're building the home, and congratulations on your family. I think that my only concern is the size of the roof deck, and I wanted to confirm, like on these drawings, it looks like there's not much railing around, like, whereas on the design, on the plans, it looks like it's more like, I don't know if this is just like metal, like a light metal railing as opposed to more of like a wooden enclosed. I'm wondering if there's some way that you could design the deck to provide noise protection to your neighbors. I don't know if that's a necessary, or it's something that you'd consider. I mean, you had one neighbor call in about the noise issues. Like, it is a huge lot, and we look at that distance, maybe it's not such an issue, but have you talked with your neighbor to the north to see if they have any concerns about the roof deck being adjacent to their lot? Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, we're not doing public comment, right?
Yeah.
It's,
So I mean, I guess the design of the roof deck is one thing that is of concern, but not if you guys don't think it is. It's something I should mention. Otherwise, it conforms with the zoning, and it is a nice design, and it serves the family. It only has one kitchen. I like that. So, and it's a huge lot, so.
Okay, anything? Okay, yeah, I have some comments. I mean, it is a very large house and addition, but at the same time, the neighborhood seems to have a lot of large houses. Even just looking at the house next door, that footprint looks huge, and a lot of them are really pretty big along the street. And even the street above, there are some quite big houses. So in that sense, I don't think this is, unusual or, something that's out of the ordinary. I think it's appropriate in that sense. It's a very big lot, and so certainly can't support a big house. And, there are a variety of living situations, extended family, perfectly valid, great way to support your family. Even if there were rentals, individual rentals, in the same sense that we're trying to build more housing, if we're getting more bedrooms and providing more living situations, that also is beneficial for the city. I do get the concerns that people don't want to have, sort of a big noisy house with a lot of parties or whatever, but, the noise, there's noise ordinances for that sort of thing. The roof deck is really, really big, and it's only off of one bedroom. So, how big of a roof deck do you need to support one bedroom? In a way, I would support reducing the size of the roof deck. A roof deck is almost as big as this room. It's like 30 by 25. That's a huge roof deck, 700 square feet. Which, to support one bedroom and a few people up there, it doesn't seem like you need it to be that big. The other question, I noticed in some of the rooms there were little boxes with question marks off of the bedrooms that really looked like they could be cabinets or little accessory kitchens. But those aren't really allowed. I mean, that's not allowed per our code, so you're not supposed to do that. I mean, you could easily do an ADU, internal ADU, attached ADU, and a junior ADU, and you could put kitchens in legally, and create more bedrooms and all that. So I don't know if you've thought about that, but that is an option that's still open to you if you decide to go back and look at that. We're not saying you have to do it or anything like that, but it is an option, and it gives you legal kitchens and separate dwelling areas. Perfectly within planning code and all our ordinances. The one thing I really don't like, can we go to the elevations? Maybe we could look at the plans as well at some point, but I guess it was, what was I looking at? Yeah, the elevation, that one right there where your cursor is. If you could blow that front elevation up. One thing I really don't like is just how massive that stair block is. I just think it's way out of proportion for the house. And when you look at it from the side view, there's another side view. I mean, that's just a massive big wall up there. That I don't think is very attractive at all. And I guess the only purpose of that upper floor is to give stairway access to the roof deck and elevator access. So it seems like a massive structure up there, which is really just trying to support a stair to get up to the roof deck. Could we look at the other, could you go look at, go up, scroll? Yeah, I mean, when you look at that stair tower, I mean, it's just kind of really tall. And that whole upper floor, I just kind of don't see why you need it except to get to the roof deck. So I think that whole upper floor could be shrunk down. And even when you, let's see, hold on, if you could go back. Oh yeah, see right there? I mean, that whole floor there, that whole upper floor, 4th level, is just to access the roof deck, which doesn't really seem necessary to me. I think the elevator could be moved over closer to where it says office, and the stair could be moved over, and that whole upper area could be reduced in size. I mean, I would support that being smaller. And could you also look at A31, page A31? It was a side 2, drawing 2. A31. Yeah, that elevation. I mean, when I look at that stair tower, I mean, it just seems way out of proportion. I mean, in an elevation and architecturally. So I would really support shrinking the top floor, either just down to the minimum for the stairs, or that would mean moving the elevator and the stairs closer to the roof deck, which is doable, certainly doable in plan, and I think the stair tower in a way is not very well designed in terms of its circulation and access. And yeah, when you look at it in plan, if we could go back to the plan, even a lower floor plan, yeah, not that level, the next level. Yeah, even on that level, I mean, it's kind of awkward. The elevator could go into the storage area. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like the whole thing could be shrunk down. I mean, that's my only item or issue I really have with this project. I mean, there are 3 entrances. I mean, it does lend itself to sort of group living, which I don't really have a problem with. But I mean, that would be my only thought. So I don't know what you 2 think about that, but otherwise, I don't really have any other issues. The roof deck, little ambivalent. It's just so big. And, I mean, even for a family of 7, I mean, or extended living situation, it seems really big. And there are plenty of other decks there that have, I'm sure, nice views.
Yeah, with the 700 square feet, I think about like some of the homes in Albany are 800 square feet. My friend lives in a house that's 600 square feet. So yeah, seeing an 800 square foot deck, I was a bit surprised. It felt like it was really big, and that's, you know, yeah, it just felt big.
Well, sorry, we're not doing public comment, I'm sorry. So it's our discussion. So I don't know what you think, but I mean, that would be the only thing. I would say reduce the size of the upper
No, I think it could
stair
be,
area.
shrunken, like as you suggested, if the whole elevator and stair is pushed southward, and then office at the topmost floor, can be pushed over the deck there. So that would also effectively reduce the deck size, and they can retain the office. That could be one, change that could be done. And I agree, like that dead mass behind the house is kind of, imposing. But I was also thinking, like, since it is up a hill, and when you are at a street level looking at that, it is not going to be that visible. We are seeing that, right, 90-degree horizontal
Right.
view, so we see that whole face. But at street level, eye level, human eye level, you would not notice that unless, you are seeing from the bay. So that was one, consolation I had, like, it is dead, it's big, imposing, but not very visible. But in order to reduce the roof deck, I agree, like this whole back rear bar can be shifted southward, and that can reduce the whole bulk of the house, and that odd feature can also be limited. Yeah, I can support that change. And also that would also kind of mitigate some privacy issue, because the office, when it is extended southward, occupying part of the deck, it would naturally create a wall between the east side neighbors and the deck.
Yep. So to clarify, you're talking about like where those letters are, like KDI. Is that the stair? Is that the?
No,
No, the
back side
stairs,
of
the
C and J.
J,
C and J. That whole
CJ.
right, that whole
Okay.
block, is stair and elevator.
Yeah.
And on top level you have office at
Yeah.
where L is.
Yeah.
And so if we, push the top level along with, and on the level, on the lower level we have storage room, which is, manageable. I think it could be handled. It is not kind of a bedroom or something, an essential space that cannot be, sacrificed. Yeah, can you please go to the plan? Or this is fine also. So this mass that is labeled as K can be pushed towards south.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would effectively reduce the face size of that, and would make it less, impactful.
Yeah, I would support that. I mean, I think it could be redesigned so the elevator and the stairs are more towards where the stair almost stays where it is, and the elevator goes in the corner of the storage room, and yeah. And then at the uppermost level, the building could be cut back a little bit. It would still be a huge roof deck.
Yeah.
Very big roof deck, and you still have stair and elevator access to it. And the only other thing I would like to see would be to have the existing trees in the back maintained as a condition of approval. I think they are on the site. I was trying to tell I couldn't quite tell from the survey, but I thought they're just very vague outlines for trees and vegetation up there. Yeah, if the trees in the back are maintained, that would be great. I think that would eliminating any privacy concerns, really. I mean, and got a nice foliage screen.
Yep.
And it is still pretty far from the upper lot and even from the side lot. Yeah?
So with those changes, I'm happy to move approval.
May I make just one comment, just then you can move forward? I do want to remind the commission that in 2023, you approved unanimously a roof deck for 633 square feet on Santa Fe on a much smaller house.
I'm sorry, roof deck?
Yes.
Yeah, I know, yeah, I know.
So just as long as you're aware of prior decisions so that what you're making is,
We're not prohibiting a roof deck.
yeah, okay.
And the option is they could even not move the office over and keep the same size roof deck.
Okay, and the
It's a
other
combined kind of solution.
request is who's ever making the motion is if you could very clearly state the bullet points for staff to
Why did
follow
you
up on.
do that?
Me?
I don't mean to do it.
I don't know.
Whoever, I heard a lot of discussion, I get the general idea, but
Yeah.
I want to ensure that we capture the
I'm not
thoughts
sure
here.
about the stair part, I think you,
Okay, well,
the elements.
normally I wouldn't make a motion, but I move that we approve, what is it? Yeah, where are we? Sorry. Approve planning application PA 25015 with following conditions. One is to move the stairs and elevator to the south and reduce the fourth floor stair area as much as possible on the north side to reduce the bulk of the stair tower, and the office can be shifted to the south as well in the area over the roof deck, or eliminated at the applicant's choice, with the intention being that the upper fourth floor stair hall elevator area is reduced by about half of its footprint. And that the the rear trees be maintained as a condition of approval.
We're not changing the size of the roof deck. It's taking this elevator and moving it over there.
Yeah, elevator goes here, stair pushes over a little bit to the south, consolidating the circulation areas and reducing the upper floor by about 20 feet on the north side, the fourth floor stair area.
Yes, please do.
Chair, I have a clarifying question. So when you say that the fourth floor, right, by moving the elevator shaft to the right, and let me just go to the fourth floor. So I understand that, of course, the result would be in a smaller footprint for the fourth floor addition. However, the underneath that, wouldn't that also affect the third floor as well? Because basically the additions on the third floor also follow the same kind of footprint. So I just want to make sure that the language is clear, that it's not.
Well,
only the
as a
fourth floor.
design matter, if you can go back to every floor has a big storage area or an open area between lines 4 and 5.
I think I get it.
I would put the elevator between lines 4 and 5. The stairs could go between lines 3 and 4. Storage area on the other floors can shift to the left. The entryway can stay the same. I think all the floors just have an open area, or the office shifts to the left.
So
Yeah.
basically, all of these three floors would be shrunk in size.
No,
So
no,
we
the
would-
lower floors can still be as wide as they
The-
are.
the
It's
lower-
just the very upper floor
Right.
would be smaller.
The lower two floors can be flipped, so the stair and elevator goes towards south, because that's where you need the full height. And so on the level 2 and 3, you can maintain the storage and office, but it would be on the northern side and would be hidden, behind the main structure, existing structure, house. And when it comes above the house, you have stair and the elevator towards the deck, and either you don't have office, which would be on the north side otherwise if you maintain, or you can occupy some of the deck space to create the office.
This works.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, something like that.
It's the same.
they're all
That one,
similar.
office.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think you can all move over.
I got this part.
Clear? Yeah.
Yes. The fourth floor massing will be reduced by about half, which will require the stairway and the elevator to be moved to the south to remove the storage room.
And the option is to put the office at the upper floor on the side of the roof deck. If the client,
To
if
minimize the
applicants-
size of the roof deck.
As an option.
If the applicants choose to do that.
Okay.
Or they can maintain the roof deck at the same size and just have a stair and an elevator to the roof deck. Okay, that was a motion.
Yep.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll vote. Commissioner Moman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Your project has been approved with one or some conditions. If the story poles are up, there is a 14-day appeal period, so please leave them up for 14 days or until notified by staff what the date is for removing the story pole. So with that, item 5-1, application PA 25015, 707 Gateview Avenue has been approved by a vote of 3-0. Okay, thank you very much. We will now move on to item 5-2, planning application PA 25-019, 713 San Carlos Avenue. And we will have a staff presentation.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Chair. So hello, commissioners and members of the public who have joined us both in person and virtually. My name is Mira Han, Associate Planner with the City. I'm here to present use permit and design review application PA 25-019 at 713 San Carlos Avenue. So the project location and a little bit of context. So the 3,333 square foot subject site is located on the east side of San Carlos Avenue, between Portland Avenue to the north and Washington Avenue to the south. So you can see the house in context of its neighboring or adjacent properties. So the lot is developed with an 1,861 square foot, two-story home with an attached one-car garage and a 75 square foot rear shed, right? Constructed in the Tudor style in 1926. The home has an existing non-conforming, let me bring up my laser pointer, which hopefully, it'll show up. So the existing home has an existing non-conforming 8.4-inch left north side yard setback, where 3 feet and 3.6 inches is required. The existing second story is within, so the second story here, like you can see here, that's in the orange, approximate orange area. So the existing second story is within the existing upper roof and contains a 248 square foot attic room. So that orange area is the attic room, and that's all there is basically on the upper level, which is completely enclosed within the roof. So the plans propose to demolish the existing rear sunroom and to construct an approximately 456 square foot two-story addition, which consists of the following. So one, the purple area is the existing one-car garage, and so the proposal is to convert that area to habitable space. Also, they plan to construct a 255 square foot upper story addition, which is represented in this bigger blue area with the dotted blue line towards the front of the house, and a 27 square foot utility room, which is this purple square at the rear, and left northeast side shown here, again in purple. So the applicant intends to convert the proposed addition right, with the converted garage and the existing attic room, so that whole area into an ADU. It would be an attached ADU. However, as the project does not meet the minimum 3-foot setback because it requires extending the existing non-conforming setback, it requires a use permit to vertically extend that non-conformity for the second-story addition. So the shaded area, like you see here, is basically that indicates the distance between the 3-foot required setback for an ADU and where the actual non-conforming wall is, which is being extended. All right, so yeah, as you can see here at the bottom, the first story, so yeah, the purple is the existing garage conversion to ADU entrance. Second story would be the habitable or the living, I guess, area for the ADU. Right, so this is the project, the proposed elevation. So basically on the blue dotted, or not dotted, but you know, the hat, like, yeah, blue dotted, I guess, the area, that is the area where the addition would happen. The proposed project would result in a 1,983 square foot 2-story home with a maximum height of 20 feet 8 inches. So the second story addition expands the existing attic room towards the front of the house and follows the existing clipped gable roof line on the left north side, raising its height by 1 foot and 7 inches. The garage conversion includes a separate entry porch, you can see here, stairwell, and storage room for the upper level ADU. The plans propose new covered entries on to the main house right here, and the ADU on the front, both on the front facade. Changes on the roof lines at the front include replacing the curved lower level roofs with straight gable roofs and Tudor-style framing at the main entry portico, and installing new clipped hip roof on the west side of the upper level addition. The design features new windows and doors with divided lights, and on the front facade, enhancing its curb appeal. So the project includes complementary and neutral color palettes, including materials such as painted stucco, composition shingle roofs, wood fascia and trim, and fiberglass-clad wood windows and doors with divided lights on the front facade, as I said. All right, so for this project, staff has received 2 public comments, which as well, like all other projects, staff adds those comments to the project files on your agenda in your packets. And with that, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission review and approve the proposed project subject to the findings and standard conditions of approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to clarify, we're not here to do design review for an ADU. We're not legally allowed to, correct?
That is correct.
So basically, we're not discussing anything to do with the ADU, just the only issue before us is extending the one non-conforming wall
Basically,
vertically above at the second story.
that is correct.
Okay. So it's a very simple question, really, or limited question. Any other questions for staff? No? We can open this to public comment. Is there anyone in the room who would like to speak on this project? Are you the applicants?
I'm the architect, Ken, the architect, the owner. We don't have any comment, we'll answer questions.
Well, we have a very limited decision in front of us, so
And we have no one online. So.
no one else is here. Well, I don't have any questions for the applicants. Okay, close public comment, move to commissioner discussion. The way I see it is very simple. We just approve the vertical non-conforming wall, and I think we can make the findings for that, and we've done that many, many times. And there's just really, we can't legally do design review for an ADU. It's not allowed by state law. So, the only thing I would recommend is make the house numbers big and obvious. That was the only recommendation I would make. So, Any,
I don't know if I can comment, but I really like the way it has been designed. It's done very skillfully.
okay, do we have a motion? Or,
Yeah, I'll make a motion for the approval of item 5-2.
okay, and we'll move
Second.
to a vote. Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Moman,
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Your project has been approved. Vertical non-conforming wall. Are there story poles up for this one? Or? Yes, there's a 14-day appeal period, so please leave them up for 14 days. And your, application PA 25-019 has been approved 3-0. So, thank you very much. We'll move on to item 6, presentations. Are there any presentations?
Nope.
Item 7, announcements.
No announcements either. But as you know from item 8, our next meeting of, let's see here, June 11th, they flipped this, is canceled, so we will be meeting on June 25th.
Okay, about a month from now. Okay, thank you, and with that, I will call this meeting adjourned. Okay, thank you, everyone.